What up? It's me again. I'm back. Okay, so today I'm doing things a little bit different. I am starting like a section of my channel called BisexualMenSpeak, as you can see on the visor up here. BisexualMenSpeak is a hashtag that I started on Twitter a year ago, and I started it so that bi plus men and masculine identified people can have a space to, speak amongst ourselves and speak up for ourselves, because so many times when you talk about bisexuality and bisexual men in particular, we're not usually the ones telling people who we are or how we are. It's usually people who are not bisexual painting this story or this picture of us, usually as villains, usually as liars. The list goes on. So I wanted to create a space where bisexual men can feel safe, and that also includes pansexual men, bi-curious men, queer men, fluid, men who don't do labels, all of that stuff. And that also includes masculine identified people, either in masculine bodies or masculine identities. So I really wanted it to be this like sort of inclusive space for all of us, and the hashtag has done really, really well. It got a lot of press and media attention, and people from all over the world, a bunch of different countries, have chimed in with their stories, and that has made my heart feel super warm inside. It's kind of like ironic that I put off doing videos because the hashtag is Bisexual Men Speak, not Bisexual Men Write. For the last year I've been doing like a lot of writing and a lot of like tweeting about this, but I kind of put off the video stuff because I felt like my channel was all about mental wellness and positivity and emotional intelligence, and so I just kind of felt like a little weird introducing this new section, but here we are. 1 year later, we're doing things new, we're finally getting the videos, all of that sort of stuff. So today is going to be about ways that you can support your bisexual friends, your bi plus friends. Before I got into that, I wanted to talk about bisexuality in men and how if you are a bisexual man who is more masculine, people have an easier time believing you, because people often conflate masculinity, which is like gender performance, with sexuality. So somebody who's like masculine is often assumed to be straight, and if they tell you like, oh, actually I'm bisexual, it's like, oh, okay, I can see it. Yeah, I can see that. I can see how you could be bisexual. However, if someone is a bisexual man and they are feminine like myself, you present that to people and say like, hey, I'm bisexual. It's like, we all know that you're gay. And that's literally like the experience. That's been what my experience has been like, and that's been a lot of bi men who are feminine as well. That's been their experience too. It's kind of like people feel as though we are trying to be less gay or less bad or less wrong by asserting that we are attracted to more than one gender or more than just men. That's not how I see myself. I don't see being gay as anything wrong or weird, or I don't think that that makes you less of a man or in any way wrong or less than, and I don't see liking women or being masculine as a positive thing or something to aspire to. I view all of these things as just kind of like objectively, like, oh, it's a thing. It's like, oh, you like men. Oh, you like women. Oh, you like both. Oh, you're masculine. Oh, you're feminine. And it would be nice if we lived in a world that thought that way as well. So that is one huge way that you can sort of support your bi plus male friends and masculine identified friends, regardless of how they express their gender. If they tell you that they're bisexual, just believe them. Just listen to what they have to say and let them take the lead. That kind of like led me into my next thing, which is like allow bisexual people, bisexual men specifically, to lead the conversation about like how they want to disclose and how out they want to be or how out they don't want to be. So if someone tells you that they're bisexual but they kind of like whisper it, then yeah, like take note of that. Like, oh, this person like is not super like carefree about everybody knowing this information about them, and probably with really good reason, because bisexual men face a lot of violence and a lot of interrogation and a whole host of other things that I don't really want to talk about because it's like really dark. But when you talk about like rates of like poverty and homelessness, sexual assault in interpersonal relationships, also being sexually assaulted on the job, the list goes on. Bisexuals do way worse on those lists than our heterosexual and homosexual counterparts. It's quite heavy, so I don't want to really go there. But yeah, allow bisexual men to take the lead as far as how out they want to be. And on the like reverse side of that coin of like, if a bi man like whispers it to you, if a bi man like says it confidently to you, like, oh hey, I'm bi, I'm pan, I'm fluid, that's what they shared with you. That doesn't necessarily mean that they share it with everyone. So it's important not to out people too. Just because they told you confidently doesn't mean that it's okay to tell other people, especially in the workplace. Another really simple way to support your bisexual male friends is just to acknowledge that bisexuality does in fact exist. It is a valid sexuality that exists in men and women and non-binary people, and it's not a phase. So a really easy way to do this is, instead of saying, oh, that's a gay couple, say like, oh, that's a same-sex couple, because you don't know if both parties, first of all, you don't know both parties' genders, and secondly, you don't know their sexualities. You see two people who look to be similar or same gender, and when you say that it's a gay couple, it literally erases bisexuality. Some couples, both of them are gay, but I'm just saying, like, it helps to broaden things up when you say same sex, because you're not 100% sure. Another way is when you're talking about everyday people who have had relationships with women in the past and now they're in a relationship with a guy, or they're flirting with a guy, instead of saying like, oh yeah, he's gay, based on his history, it seems like he's actually bisexual. Unless he tells you, oh no, I identify as gay, acknowledge like, oh, bisexual. This happens a lot at prides, and it happens a lot in LGBT spaces. We often get erased completely. Our identities get antagonized when we come to prides. It's like, what are you doing here? You have a girlfriend, you have a wife. I know that you're not supposed to be here. Or, wait a minute, weren't you dating this person last week or last month or last year? Oh, you're gay now. And it's like, actually, when a bisexual person is in a relationship with the same gender, they are still bisexual. When a bisexual person is in a relationship with another gender than their own, they're still bisexual. When a bisexual person is by themselves and is single, they're still bisexual. Notice like a trend here? So that's why it's really important not to erase people's sexualities. And I think part of the reason why the image of bisexual men and bisexuals in general is so piss poor in the media is because of negligence, obviously, and stigma. And it's also because when bisexuals do get into relationships, they are labeled either heterosexual or homosexual. And so you don't see bisexuals in relationships. You don't see bisexuals being in long-term committed relationships in the media, even though they have always been and will always be. So I don't want to necessarily like praise being monogamous over being, poly. I just wanted to say that just because a person is bisexual, that doesn't mean that they're going to be more likely to be in a poly relationship, which is a relationship with more than one person. Just because a person is bisexual doesn't mean that they're more likely to cheat. A cheater is a cheater is a cheater. There are people who cheat who are straight, gay, bisexual. There are people who cheat who are cisgender, who are transgender, who are non-binary. A person who cheats is a person who cheats. That does not reflect on their sexuality or their gender identity or how they experience gender, etc. So those are some really basic, simple ways that you can support bisexual men. I will be putting out videos once a week for Bisexual Men Speak. Stay tuned in, like, subscribe, leave me comments, leave me questions actually, because I want to answer some questions. Frequently asked questions, I want to do that. I want to tackle some issues that people are having. I want to do all of that. Okay? All right. So I'll see you here next week. Peace.